What's good, peeps? What is good? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Thank you so much to everyone that is doing it. You know what? Yeah, I had absolutely no intention of filming. It is just coming up to 11 in the evening. I'm at the studio. I've come here to try and hurry things up. So I'm doing a couple of bits here. And I thought, you know what? Let's just film. Let's film a video. We've not done that. We've done 2 lives. We haven't done like this, what I do at home. So this is kind of unusual for me to do it in the studio. So I thought, you know, let's just give it a go, see how it looks. And yeah, so I'm not quite sure if all the angle of this is going to be the same. I don't know if this is what it's going to be like in the end, but I thought we'd see how this is, see what you guys think of this angle. Eventually, we are going to use, as we did in the house for a while, like these mics will be used. But for now, we are just using the Boya M1 mic. And we are actually still using my old camera phone. So I've got like this, I've got like 4 of these digital cameras, which are going to be sort of put up around the studio. So those are what we're going to be using. But for now, we're just using the old and tried and trusted Samsung S8. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about this angle. We are going to get a big neon sign behind me. There's going to be a bit more artwork as well behind me. I think I'm going to sort of hang up this Biggie picture maybe above the Tyson picture. So there's still a lot to go, but I think it's important that just start, right? You know, I can change things as they go along. I will do a short video about the studio so you can kind of see, because I'm guessing there's a lot you're not going to see. Because I realize there's a lot over there. You ain't gonna see any of that shit. So I'm gonna do a video which kind of shows you exactly what the studio looks like. I've got some really cool 1960s, maybe even older, old cinema chairs. That's what the guests are gonna be sitting on. Obviously, I'm gonna be sitting on the green chair. I've got a big TV over there for when we do the live watch-alongs. Got another little like chair like this over there for when guests come. So not when guests come, but for when guests bring a friend and the friend obviously wants to chill and work. We've got a desk over there where I'm going to have an assistant that's going to be helping me with all the cameras and the mics and stuff. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, people. All right, let's talk boxing. I don't know. I'm still not over the weekend, if I'm honest with you. But I think we can try and look forward and what next for both. Let's start with Tyson Fury. You know, Adam Cattrall of Fight Disciples tweeted something, which is, I think, is quite important. He tweeted that boxing, we've just seen 2 semi-finals. And he's right? We've seen 2 semi-finals. AJ versus Usyk was a semi-final, and Fury versus Wilder was a semi-final. Now, if AJ won, we would be having a final, a massive final in May. Because AJ hasn't won, I feel like the what next for Tyson Fury is almost up in the air. What next really should be, it should be an undisputed. That's kind of what we want, right? In boxing, we always want to see a number 1. That's kind of what really should be next. What will probably happen is Tyson Fury will fight the winner, of Dillian Whyte and Otto Wallin, which isn't going to be bad. I mean, for Dillian Whyte's sake, you hope it's Dillian Whyte so he gets his final shot. But really, again, if we are trying to make boxing better, Tyson Fury should be fighting Alexander Usyk next. It shouldn't be an AJ rematch. It shouldn't be Dillian Whyte, although he's mandated. You should want to see an undisputed. That's not going to happen. So look, the likelihood is that he fights Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is favourite to beat Otto Wallin. All of that's now become a risky fight, like such a risky fight. It really is. Let's not forget the problems that Otto Wallin caused Tyson Fury. He's a tough fighter, and he can crack a bit as well. So yeah, I'm not sleeping on Otto Wallin at all. We'll do a build up to that closer to the time. Tyson Fury's also got 1 fight left on his deal with Top Rank. So the likelihood is that if it is a Dillian Whyte fight, although we would love that fight to be in the UK because I think it's a stadium fight, that fight will go to America. Tyson Fury will have that fight in America. It makes sense. I think Tyson Fury needs a homecoming fight. I still don't think he's got the love of the UK fight fans like AJ has, but I do think a homecoming fight will show him that UK fight fans really do appreciate and love him. And I think it's a stadium fight. I think him versus Dillian Whyte will sell out Old Trafford. He is a Manchester United fan, and it will be good to see it, but it isn't going to happen. So if it is Dillian Whyte, it's a shame, but two Brits are once again going to fight abroad. It will be abroad. It will be. Just as Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua was going to be abroad. And that's a shame for British boxing, but that's just how it is. So that's what's next for Tyson Fury. Most likely Dillian Whyte. I think it should be Alexander Usyk. I think it should be a unification fight, but it's most likely Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte looks like he will get his world title crack if he gets past Otto Wallin. That's quite simple. Deontay Wilder is more complicated. Deontay Wilder is very complicated. My phrase, and you guys have already heard it 100 times on this channel, get in, get rich, get out. That's my phrase. Deontay Wilder is now, 35? He's made a lot of money in these last few fights, a lot of money. He was a long-standing world champion. It wouldn't be the biggest news if I woke up tomorrow morning and it said Deontay Wilder has retired from boxing. It wouldn't be. Do I think that's going to happen? By the way, no, I don't. But I wouldn't mind it happening. He took a lot of punishment in that fight, a lot of punishment. And bear in mind, he took a lot of punishment in his previous fight with Tyson Fury. So that's two fights back to back where he's taken a severe amount of punishment. I thought that fight could have been stopped round 7. Round 7 was a 10-8 round for me without a knockdown for Tyson Fury. A 10-8 round without a knockdown tells you how much punishment someone's taken. And if it wasn't because of the way in which the second fight ended, I think Malik Scott would have threw the towel in. I think Malik Scott would have either pulled him out in the corner or threw the towel in because he was taking punishment from a 20-stone giant. It's getting, like, people say Tyson Fury can't hit. He clearly can. He clearly can crack. And look, there are big fights left for Deontay Wilder in America, right? Massive fights. I mean, even an AJ fight in Nigeria is massive. Imagine that in Nigeria. AJ versus Deontay Wilder would be huge, especially now that Deontay Wilder done that DNA test, and I think he's 40% Nigerian. So it'll be a huge fight. But there are a few huge fights in the States as well. Andy Ruiz Jr., a huge fight. Two former world champions, both claiming gold and wanting to get gold again. Charles Martin's a fantastic fight for him to come back out. We saw Helenius put in a really good performance against Kalnaki, really good performance. Frank Sanchez put in a good performance against Efe Ajagba. They're all big fights. They're all big fights for him. I just feel like it's crazy because he had a long rest after the second Tyson Fury fight. I feel like he needs a long rest now. But at 35, you can't have too many of those long rests because by the time you know it, you're 40. And although he looks in fantastic shape, age is age, and Father Time will catch up with anyone. And I don't know, man. I don't know. The problem of him being Deontay Wilder is that he can't come in, like, he can't have a gimme fight of such. I mean, people might say he's always been having gimme fights, but I don't think you can go backwards now. You can't go too far backwards. Like, ideally, I'd like to see him just fight someone outside the top 20, bash him up, get his confidence back, and then go straight back in with some. But I feel with him being a pay-per-view fighter in America now, there's a limit to how low you can go down. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. But he must be. I mean, I know Malik Scott's come out and said he's not considering retirement. I don't know, man. I don't know. You've got a lot of money in the bank. You've got a wonderful wife, a wonderful family. What are we doing this for? I don't think, unless the belts go all over the place, I can't see him becoming world champion anytime soon, especially if Tyson Fury has all those belts. He's not going to fight Tyson Fury again, is he? So, I don't know. The problem is there's so much money on the table for him, so much money. Like, imagine him versus AJ. That's a massive fight still. But I don't know, man. I saw a guy take a sustained beating. No one talks about that. A sustained beating. Mentally, it's going to be very difficult to get over, as well as physically. So I'm not quite sure what he does. But whatever he does, I mean, he had a good run. Like, you always need, like, as much as Tyson Fury is going to get all the plaudits for the trilogy, you need a dance partner. And Deontay Wilder has been a fantastic dance partner. Fantastic. It really has. Although it kind of went dark in the third fight in terms of the allegations, and it just felt like it was really dark, especially when Fury went over at the end of the fight to try and say, good fight and touch, and Wilder was like, go away. It all worked. It honestly, it all worked. That darkness sold this third fight. I didn't need to see this third fight after the second fight, but the way in which Deontay Wilder went radio silence, then came back and said Fury is a cheater, and then looked a bit bigger and he looked menacing, it sold it. And I think in years to come, both of them will talk about each other in glowing terms. Honestly, I think in glowing terms, especially if Deontay Wilder can get over this Fury cheating thing. I think Fury has a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder brought out the best in Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, I think, brought out the best in Deontay Wilder. I really do. I think Deontay Wilder on Saturday night, I think would beat anyone not named Tyson Fury. I put AJ in that, and I even put Usyk in that. I mean, that punch that he landed on Fury in the fourth round, I don't know if you guys have seen it in slow motion, but Fury's body almost just gives way. That punch is putting anyone else to sleep and they're not getting up. But Fury just has these powers of recovery that I just, honestly, I don't understand. I don't understand. All right, let's see what news there is, and then we'll just pack up and go home because it is pretty late. It's 20 to, well, no, it's 10 to 11 now. Dillian White, Wilder, too much punishment. Corner let it go on too long. He's right. He did. I mean, don't get me wrong. We can always, he's brave. He went out on his shield, but your corner's there to save you from yourself. And again, if it wasn't because of the issue with Breland in the previous fight, Malik Scott would have threw the towel in after the 7th round. Would 100% done it. Nonito Donaire inks promotional pact with Probellum. This Probellum are really starting to make waves. I mean, Sam Jones has left. There is no longer S-Jam Boxing. So I don't think, I could be wrong here, but I don't think he's working with the likes of Joe Joyce and Johnny Fisher. I don't think he's doing it anymore. Let me quickly go on to Sam Jones's Twitter page. He put it on his Twitter. He left a lengthy statement on his Twitter, kind of, I'm pretty sure, saying that he's done from promoting anymore. Let's quickly see, 1 second. See if I can see the statement he left. All right, here it is. This is a really proud but emotional day for me as I leave S-Jam Boxing, but I felt it was the perfect time and the perfect company to join and throw my hat into the promotional game, said Sam Jones. He's kind of left another part to it. Where's part 2? I'm extremely grateful to Probellum for giving me this huge opportunity, but it's one I know I'll thrive on. I can't put into words how grateful I am to my friend Adam Morley and my first signing, one of my closest friends, Joe Joyce. But I leave him being #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, and that fills me with extreme pride and makes me extremely happy. I would also like to thank every fighter within S-Jam, and no doubt I'll be keeping an eye on their progress and supporting them in their careers. What? So that's crazy. That is crazy. So he's no longer going to be looking after those fighters. So that's Florian Marcoux, that's Johnny Fisher. That is mad. His official title now is Talent Relations at Probellum. I'm shocked by that. I'm not joking. I am flabbergasted by that decision, but it clearly is a big offer he's got. I just thought that he was such a good promoter or manager. Now he's Talent Relations at Probellum. So Probellum, looking to do things. Lee Wood, Michael Conlon, WBA grants 7-day extension. Purse bid has been postponed. I don't know what's going on there. I'm guessing, obviously Lee Wood did sign a contract extension with Matchroom. So I'm guessing DAZN are going to put their hat into the ring. Conlon's with Top Rank, isn't he? Bob Arum, and they're going to put their hat in the ring. Again, if you are DAZN, you want to win this one. You really do. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Leo Santa Cruz on Crawford Porter. Whoever pushes it the most is going to take it. It's going to be a good fight. Obviously, I'm in the Terence Crawford fan base, right? I'm one of its founding members, but Porter's going to push him. He's not fought anyone like Porter, or anyone as good as Porter, if I'm honest with you. I mean, people might say, at 135 he fought some good names. Nothing like Porter. And Porter clearly still has a lot to offer. I mean, I said it, that he was going to cause Errol Spence a lot of problems, and everyone laughed at me, and look what he caused Errol Spence, a lot of problems. So it's a great fight. It really is a great fight, and it continues. Let's hope we can kick on with this run. It continues what is going to be a really good November. Obviously, you've got Crawford Porter, you've got Canelo Plant, some good matchups, some very good matchups. Ahara Davis, Ishmael Barroso have been added to a show in Dubai on the 26th of November. Badu Jack's the one that tops the event. Interesting. I don't think enough's been spoken about that Liverpool card that the Zone put on. I think it was a fantastic card. Troy Williamson, Ted Cheeseman, man. Like, I like Ted Cheeseman. I do. And I always start my sentence, because you know there's a but coming with that I like. But I did interview him a couple of days before that fight, and, you know, very confident, as you would be, right? I mean, he was British champion, and Troy Williamson hasn't fought at that level, really. I mean, I know he fought Kieran Smith, but I think that's more English level, although Kieran Smith, I think, is Scottish, but you know what I mean. It was a big step up for Troy Williamson, but God, he looked strong. He looked physically very strong, and every time he landed on Ted Cheeseman, it looked like it hurt him. Ted Cheeseman rallied in, I think, so Troy, for me, was winning the first half of the fight. Ted, kind of the middle part, he rallied, and there was a time when I thought, my God, Troy better get his second win. He got his second win, and then the stoppage. But the story isn't about that. The reason I bring all that up is because Ted Cheeseman has had tough fight after tough fight after tough fight, and he needs a break. He needs a break, or it just needs a break. Let's just put it that way. You look at who he's fought recently. So he's gone from Troy Williamson, tough fight. JJ Metcalf, he won. And that's the thing. Even in the fights he's winning, tough fights. JJ Metcalf, tough fight. Before that, Sam Eggington, tough fight. Before that, Kieran Conway. Before that, I think he fought Garcia. So in 2019, I think he had 3 losses, or 2 losses and a draw. I think Kieran Conway was a draw. Who else did he fight as well? But basically, the 6 fights that he's had back-to-back, my brain, Fitzgerald. So he's had all those fights, and even in the wins, it's brutal. It's too much. He's only, 25, 26. They need to really have a think about what they do with Ted Cheeseman next, because that can't be your career. It can't be. Sam Eggington was like that, and he still is like that, where it's just, you know, even in the wins, like Sam Eggington fought, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and even in the win, it was brutal. Brutal. I'm a bit of a softie. I care for these fighters after their careers are done, and I'm already fearing for Ted Cheeseman, already fearing for him. So, yeah. You know, the worst thing about Ted Cheeseman, he can box. He doesn't need to get involved in it, but for some reason, he wants to have a scrap all the time. But yeah, look, that was a fantastic fight card. Liam Smith, obviously, winning the Battle of Liverpool against Anthony Fowler. Anthony Fowler had a really good start to that fight, and I was like, whoa. Liam Smith looking old here, right? Looking old. And then all of a sudden he shows that experience, and it gets the job done. A fantastic finish. Look, you roll the dice sometimes in boxing. Anthony Fowler wanted the opportunity to step up. He thought that maybe Liam Smith was on a slide, and a win for Anthony Fowler is jackpot, right? It really is jackpot. I mean, Liam Smith's talking about Jesse Vargas. It would have been Anthony Fowler talking about those type of opponents. Then your money goes up, and then who knows? Who knows what happens, right? There's a lot of talk about Charlo vacating all the belts to go to 160. He could have put himself in a world title window shot next year. That's what was on the table for Fowler. So a lot of people have been saying things like Fowler shouldn't have taken that step up. Of course you take the step up. You take it. The problem is, the good thing is that now, even in a step down, there's fights out there. Troy Williamson's now out there. I mean, there's so many fights at 154. Hamza Shiraz, they were supposed to fight. That can happen. So it's not too bad for Fowler. I still think he's got a decent career left. I don't think that career is world-level career, but I think it's a decent career nonetheless. Any other stories to talk about? Oh, God. I'll read it out anyway, but we're not going to talk about it. Adrian Broner arrested over outstanding warrant in Ohio. Jeez. One fight that I don't think is getting the love, or one fighter that's not getting the love that we're going to show some love to now, is Robert Helenius. That win against Kalnacki was brilliant. I stalled there because I was going to say brutal, but it was brutally brilliant. That's what it was. Fantastic performance. Just looked perfect, didn't he? Composed, never rushed, got hit with a couple of low blows, just dealt with Kaunaki. And I remember in the first fight, Kaunaki was actually doing quite well until he got caught. So I thought maybe it might be like that this time around. But no, Helenius looked in great shape, used his jab. Every punch looked like it had mean intentions. And although the referee disqualified Kaunaki was getting knocked out in that fight. If that fight went on a couple more rounds, Helenius had his number. And now for me, Helenius, with that performance, might have squeezed into the top 10. I think we need to have a revised top 10. I think there's a top 10 that was done a year ago that I think needs to change. And for example, Kubrat Pulev was in the top 10 a year ago before he fought AJ. He's out of it. Joseph Parker was in that top 10. He's out of it for me. I know he beat Chisora, but he's out of it for me. The people like Helenius and Frank Sanchez might have jumped into that top 10. Might have jumped in. Let me try and see if I can do an off-head top 10. Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. I don't know where AJ and Wilder I have, but let's just say AJ Wilder, so that's 4. 5, let's just say Dillian White I think deserves to be in and around that, so 5 Dillian White. Andy Ruiz is in there for me as well. Joe Joyce I think is in there just because I don't think there are that many, there definitely aren't 10 heavyweights to beat Joe Joyce. And then I've got 3 spaces left. 3 more spaces. This is off my head, people, so I could have missed someone out obviously here. But then I will chuck in Hrgovic, Frank Sanchez, good win over F.A. Jagba, and maybe Helenius. Maybe. I mean, I know there's Tony Yokas of the world out there and others, but maybe that might be it. That might be it. So well done. Well done to Helenius on, I think, a career best win. And that Dillian White win over him now starting to look really, really good. Talking of F.A. Jagba, he was awful. We'll move on from it because I don't even want to talk about it. It was so disappointing. And I'll tell you now, Edgar Berlanga weren't great either. You know, he knocked over a lot. So 16 tomato cans in the first round. Everyone was high. I think his last 2 fights he's gone the distance and he got put down in this fight. He got put down. So, yeah, I don't know. Not quite sure. A lot coming out here saying Malik Scott telling us that Deontay Wilder broke his hand. Some people, for some reason, have said that the count for Fury was too long. Wilder fans have said it. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Poor. Anything else that we've got? Jamie Mitchell beat Shannon Courtney. I feel like we haven't spoken about any of this. Yeah, she was just much better. You could see the amateur experience as well, just much better than Shannon Courtney. There have to be a rematch. I mean, I think Shannon Courtney will get beat in the rematch, if I'm honest with you. For Shannon Courtney, though, there are a couple of fights out there for her. Ebony Bridges, it's money, take it. Rachel Ball, money, take it. Those are the 2 fights out there for her. I don't think she's getting her belt back over Jamie Mitchell. I really don't. I really, really don't. Guys, just checking if there's anything else. This is known, but I'm just saying again, Anthony Joshua has exercised the rematch with Alexander Usyk. They're looking at spring 2022, so April. Not quite sure where it's going to take place, but it's going to get us gripped again. AJ can beat Usyk. He has to change a lot, but he can beat Usyk. I'm not having it he can't beat Usyk. You know, I'm very honest when it comes to AJ, I think. I'm not having it he can't win. I don't think he will, but he can. Just has to change a lot. One of those things he might have to change is his trainer. He might have to, innit? He really might have to. All right, guys, I think that is it. Hopefully that was short and sweet, and we will do another video here. The plan is to start interviewing people here in the next couple of days, but we'll see how we get along. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on it. Peace.